I'm Melissa.
And I'm Mike.
Welcome back to True Crime Thursday and Thursday, period.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, happy to be here. Happy to see another Thursday.
Yeah, that's deep. That's
Oh,
very philosophical and deep.
yeah. You know what I saw on Instagram today? This has nothing to do with True Crime Thursday, but if I'm not starting off on a tangent, what am I really starting with? So, I saw on Instagram that they had scientists, they being scientists. Let me see if I can pull it
They.
up real quick. They looked at the DNA and RNA, RMA, something like that. I don't know. I'm not a
Okay.
scientist. Of
No.
oh, here it is. Scientists have now found all of the DNA and RNA bases in meteors. This suggests humans didn't originate on Earth. We came from space.
Wow. I mean, I've always had theories.
Isn't that crazy? We
I
should do
think
an
we used
episode
to
on that.
I think we used to all live on Mars, and then Mars got hit by an asteroid or something, and we were very advanced. So, did you ever see the movie
We are the
what the heck
aliens.
is it? Knowing, I think it is. Is it Knowing? It's with
No.
Nicolas Cage, and it's about basically there's certain people that hear and see these people that are like I forget the whole storyline of it, but it involves like people carving like numbers, and they at some point in the movie they realize that these numbers
Hmm.
are longitude and latitude and number of people killed, like that died. So like the one is like a plane crash, and 100 and some people die, and he's looking through the numbers, and he happens to be where the plane crash happened, and
Hmm.
he realizes, oh, that's the longitude and latitude where I am, and then he realizes, like, he decodes this string of numbers that he has, and they realize
Hmm.
that it's something from an alien civilization that is basically predicting the end of the earth. And it's only like children that can like see these people, these aliens that are, because the aliens are coming to take some of the children from the planet to another planet to restart the civilization. So that's how I think we got here.
Interesting. Yeah, it
Yeah.
says scientists have discovered all five nucleobases, the building blocks of DNA and RNA inside meteorites, adding new evidence to the theory that some ingredients for life may have arrived on Earth from space billions of years ago. Researchers say the finding supports panspermia hypothesis, which proposes that organic compounds necessary for life may have traveled across the universe aboard asteroids and meteorites before Earth fully formed.
Wow.
Isn't that neat? I think
That's
it's even cool
interesting.
that they can like figure that out, honestly.
Yeah.
Love scientists, so smart.
Yeah. Yeah, that stuff's amazing. Like, people who are smart enough to do that,
Yeah.
props.
Shout out to you.
Yeah.
Anyways, so that's not what we're talking about today, even though we just talked about it. We are talking
It's
about
not.
things a little more down than that, but why not
Yeah.
start it off with something higher?
That's right.
So, do you want me to start? Or do you want to start?
You can
How
start.
do you want to do
By
it?
the way,
Okay.
that's known as a hook, what you just did. But that's, yeah, you start. You start.
Oh, yeah, that's my hook. So, um, the meat and berries of it all, or what is it? Yeah, meat and potatoes of it.
Meat and berries. That's an odd meal.
That's a
What do you having with
giant
your steak? What are you having with your steak there?
blueberries.
Some blueberries. Okay.
Okay, anyways, the so starting off today's episode, we're gonna be just talking about a few case updates, by the way, today. Um, no deep dive today or anything like that. Just a few
Nah.
case updates that either some of them, most of them we haven't really talked about actually. I guess some of them we've entertained, but
Yeah.
starting off, a very popular one at the moment is the Texas track meet stabbing with 19-year-old Carmelo Anthony. You know what's crazy? When I heard his name, not heard his name, but like when I saw it on my Instagram when like the verdict came out or whatever, I
Oh
had
yeah.
forgotten about this case and I was like, Carmelo Anthony?
Yeah. Wait. Yeah. Didn't he just retire from basketball? What happened?
I was like,
Yeah, it's
murder
I
case.
I thought about that aspect of it, and I'm like, when this the whole thing first happened, do you think like the former NBA player was a little upset that because based on the kid's age, he was probably named after him, I would assume.
Oh,
Um,
true.
so would you be a little upset that, oh, come on,
Yeah.
you know?
Um,
But continue.
yeah, so 19-year-old Carmelo Anthony, he was found guilty of murder for fatally stabbing 17-year-old Austin Metcalf in the stadium bleachers during a high school track meet. The jury rejected Anthony's claims of self-defense during an argument over a team tent. So, it's my understanding from just the things I've read that basically there was a track meet at the school, and um, Austin and his team, it was on a rain delay.
Right.
So they were in their team tent, and Carmelo came up to their tent, and he already had like a pocket knife in his backpack, which I mean, like, I guess it's not super, you know, weird, I guess, to have a
Yeah,
pocket
no.
knife on you. Like, yeah,
I
you carry
carry a
one,
knife
Brandon
like
carries
just
one,
for
like,
yeah,
yeah.
just in case I need to cut things.
So,
I never intend it to be a self-defense thing.
yeah, so like I don't think that that's a huge red flag. It's not like he had a kitchen knife in his backpack. That would be more
Right, right.
premeditated red flag.
Yeah.
Um, but I guess he went up to their team tent. He was told to get out multiple times. I don't know if it was multiple times by multiple people or just multiple times by Austin himself. But regardless, apparently he was told multiple times to get out of their tent. He didn't get out. Austin pushed him to get him out. And then I think Carmelo, it said Carmelo fell, and then he like went to go reach in his backpack, and I don't know, I guess he made a threat about watch what happens. And I think it was before he got pushed. He said that, and then he got pushed,
Okay.
reached in his backpack, pulled out the knife, and it was just one stab to
Yeah, he
Austin's
right
chest.
to
And
the heart. Yeah,
yeah,
right to the heart. Yeah.
and he
Yeah,
yeah.
and this one's tough. I mean, this one is tough because, it's two very young people,
Yeah, 17 and
that involves
19.
one of them is no longer here.
Mhm.
Um, and all that his family has to deal with as a result of that. And the other
Yeah.
one's going to be in jail for the next, well, 35 years. I think they said with good behavior can be half that.
Oh, okay.
Um, yeah, and one thing that I hadn't thought of, but that that Adrian mentioned to you before we started going here was, that maybe murder first degree was a little bit harsh in this case. And I
Yeah.
was looking at the Texas, because every state, the definition is different.
Yeah.
The Texas definitions for like classes of murder, and what they call murder, which is the first degree felony, is intentionally or knowingly causing the death of another individual or committing a felony that results in death. Where manslaughter or second degree felony is recklessly causing the death of an individual. This means you were aware but consciously disregarded substantial and unfixable risk and or unjustifiable, I'm sorry, risk. And that's tough. It's tough to say whether murder was right or it should have been manslaughter because um
Yeah.
well, first the
Not first
jury.
degree. First degree. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, they list first degree or second degree, but they list it also as murder or manslaughter. So they're the same
Oh,
thing. In
okay,
other words,
okay.
the terms are interchangeable. Um, but the thing to me about it is the whole question of committing a felony, that results in the murder. Is there a felony in there, and that's why they were able to go that route? In other words, is possessing that knife is the knife? And I don't know that. I'm
I
not.
don't know. I
I'm
feel
not
like
saying
it's
that because
Texas,
otherwise,
so Texas probably
yeah,
has similar knife
yeah,
rules as Florida.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Um, and yeah, so that's why I'm like I'm a little confused by that because it does sound
True.
like more. more of the manslaughter definition. Like I don't,
Mhm.
in other words, to me, if he went into the tent with the intention of killing someone, that sounds more like first degree.
Yeah.
Unless where they're coming up with he intentionally did it is he made the threat and then carried the threat out.
Yeah. I guess that's where it's yeah, I mean, but I think it would be different if he went into the tent with like, yeah, like I'm about to kill this boy, but I don't
Yeah, yeah,
think it to me based on the story of like events of what happened, it doesn't sound like when he walked in there he knew that he was going to kill him or anything. I do wonder, I don't know if maybe they talked about that during the trial or not. I didn't read anything about that, but like what was his intention of even going in the tent though?
yeah. One of the
Why
stories I
was he
heard,
in
and
there? Why was he going
yeah,
over by them in the first place?
right. Well, first of all, it was raining, so the one of the stories that I heard, and again, I'm going by things I hear on the internet, and not everything you hear on the internet is true. I'll say that right up front.
True.
Was that I heard that his team, the area that they were in, wasn't covered. Didn't have a tent covering it, so it was raining. And some other person from the team, not Austin, but someone else on their team, invited him to come into the tent. But I don't know if that's true. Again, that was just one of the stories that I had read or heard on that aspect of it. And then I don't know,
Mm.
somebody said, well, he shouldn't be there, and that's when they asked him to leave, and he wasn't leaving. And um, yeah, it's that whole thing that we always talk about, though. Kind of, I feel like the road rage thing, right? Where somebody cuts you off, and you flip them off, and they're in a certain mindset. They don't like that you flip them off, so then they go and I don't know, follow you and pull over behind you and start something. You know what I mean? It's like that whole thing of you know
Oh,
this could have been so much, so much. The story could have ended so much better if people had just everybody, and I'm saying everybody, had just kept calm heads.
so apparently, yeah, so this says Anthony's defense attorney said Anthony went to that tent to get out of the rain. So I guess he was attending the track meet or whatever. He was like at the track meet
Right.
and he went to that tent to get out of the rain after seeing someone he recognized there. He walked up
Okay.
and stood in our tent, is what a witness testified. Um,
Okay.
so I guess it wasn't just like, but at the same time, not to like defend anybody because murder is bad, guys.
Right.
But the thing is, I guess like high school boys and middle school boys are just so hot headed and like I don't know. I guess your boys weren't like that too much, only towards each other.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah.
but so many boys are like always just ready to fight. Like why are
Right.
y'all so angry? Everyone just needs to
Right.
relax. Take a chill pill.
Right.
Like it's not that serious, guys.
Yeah. Go to neutral corners and calm down. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
it. I mean,
Take a
because
nap, drink some water. Um so yeah, I think like that's also kind of where that came from. I think he probably
yeah.
carries that knife in his backpack and that's just like what he does. I don't think he again, I don't think it was like
Well,
intentionally supposed to be a malicious situation. He went in there,
right.
they told him
Well,
to
it's
get out. He got mad that they were telling him to get out,
well,
and
he
then
got
it just
yeah,
started this
yeah,
whole fight and argument.
escalated from there.
It
Yep.
escalated from there, unfortunately, to
I mean,
someone dead and someone in jail.
the only thing I'll say is about the knife is, when we first talked about, well, it was a pocket knife, lots of people, you said Brandon carries a pocket knife, I carry a pocket knife, but I've also never, while I had my pocket knife, threatened somebody with it, whether they pissed me off or not. So
Yeah,
it
I
is
think,
different. I mean,
yeah.
it's a terrible case no matter what, because there's two young lives that are unalterably, changed. One of them no longer with us, and the other one, is gonna go away for a long time. So
And regardless, even if he only does half of that time, like that's
yeah,
still on his
it's
grown up
still
record.
that's basically as long as he's been alive to this point. So
And then when he gets out,
yeah.
definitely
So
a different life.
that's all we have. That's all we have on that one, though. It's in the news. Everybody's talking about it, so we thought we'd
So,
include that in the
yeah.
discussion. But
The
what
A&M
else you got?
podcast loves talking about trending news stories.
That's
So,
right.
there's also been another update on we've talked about this one, the Irina Zarutska killer.
Yes. Yep.
Carlos Brown Jr. is his name.
She
It's the
was
first time I even heard his name.
yeah, it's true. She was the Ukrainian immigrant who was stabbed on the bus or train.
I think it was a
Train?
train. Yeah, I think it was a
Yeah,
train.
train.
Yeah, she was stabbed on the train from behind when she had just gotten off work, and that was a super sad case. Still a super sad
Yes.
case. So he has been ruled incompetent to stand trial for a second time.
Yep.
During Tuesday's hearing, which was yesterday, well, 2 days ago when you're hearing this.
Yeah.
During Tuesday's hearing, he shouted about a body emergency, claiming there was, quote, material inside him, and demanded action against the FBI. Federal prosecutors say treatment is now underway, but the goal remains the same, getting this case before a jury. But he keeps
Yeah.
what
Yeah,
if
and
he's
the
faking? Just
well,
throwing it out there. What if he's
eh,
faking? So if I ever
I
like
mean,
go to trial, I can just shout out crazy things, and you're just gonna be like, "Wow, I guess she's
yeah.
wacko."
Yeah, I mean that's the thing to me with these kind of cases is like, okay, so he's he's insane to a point where it's a case where he was on a train, stabbed a woman in her like her pardon me
Her
if this is
neck.
the
It
wrong
was like her neck.
her neck, right in the main artery in her neck that she like and what I heard is she knowingly bled out. In other words, when you
Oh
saw her
yeah,
fall to the floor there, she was still conscious and she knew what was happening, which is just heartbreaking.
terrible. Yeah.
And and I would hope somebody's crazy who does something like that because I would hope a sane person couldn't do something like that. But like why does that prevent us from bringing that person to justice? Like
Hmm.
we've talked about this before, but like I just don't think that should prevent that person from being brought to justice for what they did
Yeah.
because you know like a young woman is dead and
Yeah.
and regardless of like I mean I'm sure I would hope he's in some kind. The worst part about that case too is I don't know if you've seen, I saw something on it today, and they had like it was like 12 or more times that he's been arrested, that they had all the mugshots lined up from all of the arrests for like
Hmm.
incidents as a result of whatever the problems this person had. And you could say, I mean,
Right.
that's a societal thing, right? That we don't deal with those things properly in our society,
Yeah.
and this is the kind of thing that happens as a result of it.
Well, it's kind of like, have you even heard of those cases where like somebody will be like they know that they're being, I don't know, like stalked or followed or watched or harassed or something like that. And like they'll report it to the police, but like the police can't really do anything because they're like, well, we don't
Hmm.
really have this and we don't really have that. And I get that. I get that. Like, they don't have an officer that can just watch you 24/7 and make sure you're safe. Like, you know, what do you want them to do? But
Right.
at the same time, it's kind of like their thing is always, well, we can't do something until something happens. It's like, well, most of the time, by the time something happens and it escalates to a point that you like would be able to do something, we could have a
Yeah.
life lost or somebody
Yeah.
hurt or somebody
Yeah.
kidnapped or in trouble or whatever, you
Yeah.
know? Like somebody needs
Yeah.
to get, why does somebody have to like rack up so many charges and have so many mugshots and they're still just walking free on the bus, like, and then something happens and now he's been dismissed twice because he's incompetent to stand the trial. Like, I
Yeah,
understand
yeah,
the justice system. Everybody is, entitled to a fair trial or jury trial or
yeah.
whatever, but I
Defense and
mean,
all that.
I
Yeah,
think there should also be a rule of like, if somebody is too incompetent to stand trial like two times,
yeah. You're
now
well,
now you
especially
go
for
to you go immediately to a judge,
yeah, yeah,
automatically to a judge.
yeah. Yeah, I mean that's it. Like so and what's the solution here? Do we put this person in a, some kind of a mental facility? Do they get treatment until they can get them to the point that they can stand trial? And even then what they're going to say is, "Well, yeah, but at the time he didn't know what he was doing." And
Yeah.
I just feel like
Well, I mean, I
that's
guess he's
that's not an excuse,
he's being held either way, so I guess it's not like,
Right.
thankfully it's not like, okay, well, you're on the streets, so, oh, like,
Right.
until further notice. So,
Well, except, and I don't know what all the charges were for before, but this is
mm,
clearly an example of where like the system did not do enough to keep this person from being around other people. Like, all
all
those
right.
other charges, I'm sure there were like, I mean, clearly he didn't, I don't think he murdered anyone else, but
Yeah.
clearly they were probably escalating type charges, and the system
Mm-hmm.
just kept bringing him in, you know, I don't know if he did jail time for any of them and then putting him back out on the street, and it's like, you know, as a society, we just can't keep accepting that kind of thing. Because if we do, this kind of thing's going to happen more and more and more. Because,
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I feel like there's a lot more cases of people who are mentally unstable today than
Mm-hmm.
there used to be.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, we'll just have to keep an eye on that one, I guess. And
Yeah, yeah,
I don't know how long they wait between, like, okay, he was called for being too incompetent to stand trial, so like now what?
yeah,
I don't know if they just like
yeah.
how long they wait to like schedule another. I don't know if it's like a
Another
hearing or
hearing.
what.
Yeah. I feel like I heard today that it's like at 6 months, 6 months before they'll review it again. But to your
Yeah,
point, until then, he's in a facility somewhere. I'm sure under lock and key. So,
maybe try giving him a Delta 8 gummy before he goes and sits there next
right. Well,
time.
that the funny thing is that was one of the things
Maybe
that the
that'll
family
mellow
members said. Yeah,
him.
that was one of the things that the family members had said was that he wasn't on. He hadn't been. He was on some kind of medication for, I don't know, some kind of psychosis meds or something, and he hadn't been taking them. So,
That explains where he's talking about
yeah.
things
So,
inside him. So yeah.
yeah. So,
Anyways.
anyways, another case that we did talk about, I think we've talked about a few times, the Anna Kepner case.
Oh yeah.
And there have been some updates on that. Most recently, the trial of her stepbrother Timothy Hudson, which we've
Mhm.
never mentioned his name because
We
actually, when
haven't.
we
Yeah.
initially talked about this, we didn't know his name. We just knew stepbrother.
Mhm.
Um, but that's been moved to September of this year.
Oh wow.
Um, yeah, and they said it's been moved. I don't know when it was originally scheduled for because I don't remember hearing about that.
I don't
The
remember
one
either.
crazy thing is that just happened in November, so that
Yeah.
wasn't that long ago. Um, but one
They
of the
just they
interesting
just they
things,
just charged him recently too.
yeah, yeah, like just a
So
few
like
weeks, April,
even
I
for
think, was when
the
they did.
for them to charge him and then that's a quick turnaround even for a trial between being
Yeah,
charged in a trial.
yeah, and a couple of other interesting updates in addition to the trial starting in September is that the one thing is the prosecution has been pushing for them to kind of have him in custody during this whole process because I guess right now he is staying with his uncle, which I
Oh.
thought that was kind of interesting to me because there was a story. I don't know if you've heard about this one, but there was a story in Orlando of a woman who was arrested for a hit and run death, and she spent 13 days in jail. I think it was the county jail,
Mhm.
and she turned out they had arrested the wrong person. Matter of fact, the car her car didn't match the car that was seen at the scene. Her car
Right.
didn't have the damage that the car that was the car that actually of the driver who actually did it um, had repaired. Her car didn't have that kind of damage. And she spent 13 days in jail before, I don't know, her lawyers or whatever convinced them that they had the wrong person. And I look at a case like that and I'm like, and then we have this case, and this person isn't sitting in jail at all. They're staying at their uncle's house, which is kind of crazy to me.
Do you think it's maybe his age? I think
It
they sometimes it
it could
also
be.
it could be like maybe his age, but also like I don't know. I think there's certain things that like they count where when they think of like flight risk and stuff,
Yeah,
like they
yeah.
could just I don't know, like assume he's not a flight risk, so it's
He's not
not
afraid. Yeah,
like
that could
maybe his
that
uncle.
could
It's
be.
like okay, well,
But how did
yeah,
they argue for this? I mean, we haven't really talked about that case, and maybe we could at some point, but
yeah,
it's a different type of case, so it's not one we would normally talk about. But like, in that case, this person was sitting in jail for 13 days and didn't even do it. But the
true.
the other piece of information that came out recently was there's some new, I guess, newly disclosed court filings that indicate that the investigators actually recovered data from Anna's phone, which he had thrown away in a garbage can somewhere on the ship. Like they had security video showing him at some
Oh
point
wow,
after the murder throwing her cell phone into a garbage. Like allegedly, he walked around the ship with the cell phone and then threw it in a garbage can.
oh my
And it
god,
says it was actually damaged, and prosecutors argue that helped establish his movement on board the ship through the Wi-Fi router connections, which again, digital footprints
digital
and
footprints.
surveillance footage. But I don't know what data from. I mean, if that's the data they're talking about, it's just the positional data. I don't know if there's other data on the phone that they've
Did they
recovered as well.
retrieve the actual phone? Did they get that
Yeah,
back? Oh okay,
apparently they did. Yeah, apparently they did. Yeah, because it says they recovered data from her damaged phone. So, um,
hmm.
yeah, it has not been tested in trial yet, and it's scheduled to begin on September 8th in federal court in Miami. So that will definitely be one that we'll be following up on.
Hmm.
It's funny, the thing I'm reading from here says Hudson remains presumed innocent under the law despite serious charges. Obviously
True.
presumed innocent until proven guilty. So yeah, those were the updates on that case, which again is sad. God, all of these cases just make me sad. Why do we never have? I guess there's nothing to talk about on true crime stories. At the end of the story, you'd be like, "I'm so happy from that story."
We should
And at
look
the
at
end,
like
everybody got a unicorn. Like
we
that's
should
never the end of
right.
the story.
We should talk about heroes one of these times
Yeah, yeah,
on
maybe.
the True Crime Thursday.
I like that.
Um
Let's do it.
cuz that's still true crime. I'm trying to look for where is my thing that I'm looking for. So anyways, our last story is about Rob Reiner. Or
Oh,
Rob
right.
Reiner, Nick Reiner. Nick Reiner the son who
Of Rob
killed his
Reiner. Right.
parents, yeah. So it's not much of an update, but Nick Reiner says he's being blocked from inheritance left behind by parents. Boo freaking who.
Yeah.
Speaking of first world problems, Nick,
Yeah.
like, also
Yeah,
like
kind of.
he looks kind of crazy. Um,
Well,
like he's literally like bald headed now. Like he shaved his whole head.
yeah, I
Like
mean,
the
you know,
difference between the picture of him with his parents versus now, he looks like that villain from who's that villain from Spider-Man with the shaved head? What's his name? With the Octodad,
from
like or not
Spider-Man.
the smart one. What's the super smart villain who has the bald head?
You're thinking of Lex Luthor?
Lex Luthor. He looks like
He's
Lex
not, that's
Luthor.
from Superman. That's from
Yeah. Okay.
Superman.
Yeah.
Come on, get your
Sorry, guys.
cinematic universes
Okay.
right. You're
Right.
interfering with my Marvel Monday vibes. What's wrong with you?
Right. Maybe I should tune in. That's why I'm not on Marvel Mondays, by the way.
That's exactly why.
I know just enough about my superheroes. Okay, yeah, he looks like he's giving Lex Luthor vibes. He
Wow.
just has his like shaved head and looks kind of tired and crazy. So, anyways, it says Nick Reiner, the son of director Rob Reiner and the late actress Penny Marshall, has claimed he is being prevented from accessing his inheritance following his parents' death. Uh,
Yeah, I mean,
you
to
shouldn't
your
get your
point, boo hoo.
inheritance for your
Yeah,
parents that you allegedly killed.
yeah.
What?
I think there
What?
should be something in a line in the contract that says that like,
Right. Unless you
by the
kill
way, if you
me.
cause their death, you're not getting the money.
Like that's how
Allegedly.
like life insurance works.
Yeah, yeah. That's what it made me think of right away is like I'm pretty sure like life insurance says for good reason, by the way, but
Right. But like I guess
an
because he
inheritance should
hasn't
work the same way.
maybe it's because he hasn't been like convicted. Um
Yeah.
like he's
Yeah, but I
still
feel
on the he's still technically I guess if he's like in the will or inheritance or whatever, like I guess
right.
he feels
Right.
like he still does should have access to it, but
Did
that's not even the bigger thing. It's him complaining about it. Like
right.
boo
Right.
hoo, Nick.
Yeah. Well, the thing to me about it is I'm curious as to why it's being withheld. In other words, is it because of something in the law? Is it because
So
his
yeah.
siblings are disputing it so that he doesn't? Like I'm just curious as to the reasoning behind it. I think it's right and
Um
just, but I
yeah, it just
I'm
says
curious
in
as to
court
the reasoning.
filings, Reiner and his legal team allege that the trustee has used shifting excuses to block him from receiving money from a $1.5 million trust fund set up by his parents. So,
Hmm.
whoever the trustee is the one
They're
using
they're
shifting excuses to
doing what they
block him from
can to
it.
block it. Yeah,
The inheritance battle has gained attention and a shocking backdrop. He's currently facing first degree murder charges, and the family conflict has become highly public and contentious as Reiner awaits his trial. He has stated that he loved his parents and is devastated by their deaths. The case
hmm.
continues to unfold in court. So, yeah,
Yeah.
that I guess that hasn't even gone to trial yet.
So, but that makes me think: is he in jail right now? Is he in jail like
Yeah.
pending the trial, or he's out?
Mhm. No, I'm pretty
He
sure
is
he's
in
in
jail
jail.
pending.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, so then what that tells me is the people who care about that inheritance are the lawyers because they want to get paid. That's why
Okay.
the lawyers are making those filings because they want to get paid. Because if he's in jail, he has, no rhyme or reason to be concerned with that at this point in time. Like his primary concern should be, getting through the trial.
Unless he's trying to pay his legal team. Okay,
Well,
yes.
that's what I'm
As
saying.
of
That's what I'm saying.
latest available reports, Nick Reiner is still being held in custody. Recent court
Yeah.
coverage states that he remains jailed without bail while awaiting further proceedings in the murder case involving the death of his parents. His
Yeah.
next hearing is scheduled for September 15th, 2026.
Wow. That's a long time. That's a long time. And again, you look at the I forgot his name already, but the Anna Kepner case that happened in November and he's being tried in September. And when did Rob Reiner and his wife, when was that? Was that December? Was that like December of last year?
Uh,
I think it was
let's
December
see.
of last year. So that would mean, I don't know, I guess it's just amazing how long it takes for them to get these things figured
Oh
out.
yeah, December 14th, 2025.
Yeah. Yeah. So um but I feel like it's totally because it's not because he wants to pay the lawyers, it's because the lawyers want to get their money. Because here's the thing, if he's found guilty and as a result of being found guilty, they're like, no, he doesn't get that money,
Mhm.
then they're not getting paid. So that's probably they're the ones really concerned with it
Yeah.
is the
Yeah.
legal team. So
Yeah,
there's
so
another one. Yeah. We
there's
will
another one.
we will follow all of these cases, and I'm sure we'll have more updates and maybe some deep dives once these have like wrapped up completely and they're not still pending. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. So, yeah, guys, there's our updates. I hope you enjoyed.
there's
I hope you, I don't know, got something out of this. You're welcome for our opinions. Let us know your opinions.
yeah, but be nice. We always like you to be nice.
Yeah, did you see the one person they commented on our self-checkout video? And they were
Or
like,
what?
our self-checkout or like our video our
Oh
about no
yeah,
first world
yeah,
problems, and they were like, maybe don't go there,
yeah,
don't shop there. I was like,
yeah,
thanks for the tip.
yeah, yeah. There was we also had a suggestion for our Tuesday episode to be called Taco Tuesday, but then we'd have to talk about tacos, and there's not enough to say. So
Oh, true. Yeah, not enough to say.
yeah, yeah.
So,
All right,
yeah.
guys. Thanks for checking this one out, and stay tuned for our other episodes coming next week. Have a good weekend.
Bye, everybody.